Strangely enough, an earthquake of a magnitude of 7.5 struck Ishikawa, Japan, on January 1st. This very scenario was prophesied over 400 years ago by Nostradamus. You might want to watch this video through to the very end to find out exactly what is going to happen to the world, since the prophecies of Nostradamus are coming true and are supported by a ton of fresh data. However, there is something shocking that is going to happen this year. Japan was struck by a 7.5 magnitude earthquake on January 1st, which claimed 55 lives. Numerous individuals worldwide are connecting this calamity to a forecast made by Nostradamus. People are surprised to learn that this French astrologer foresaw the earthquake a long time ago. Before you write this off as another prophecy, consider this: everything transpired exactly as he said. Let's examine the supporting data. In his best-known work, according to Les Prophet, who wrote books between 1555, there will be a devastating earthquake off the coast of Japan in 2024, causing a tsunami that would destroy homes and kill 100 people. That's quite the forecast, but we have to admit that it's so damned accurate that we have to pay attention. He made a list of things that would change the world. It covers Hitler's ascent to power, Queen Elizabeth's death, and there. As you are aware, both of these events occurred, and it is disturbing to learn that there are yet more of similar events scheduled for this year. So let's delve a bit farther. Let us discover the identity of Nostradamus and what awaits us from Hassan in 2024. The time span of this French astrologer's life was from 1503 to 1566. Although Michel de Nosdame was his entire name, most people only knew him as Nostradamus. In 1555, his work Les Prophet was released. It was a really prophecy-filled book. 42 and 900 poetic quatrains were found. It foresaw what will happen in the future. He was quite worried that the church would criticize his astrological tradition. There was no one language used to write the prophecies. It was a blend of Latin, Greek, Italian, and Provençal. The words from various languages were combined to create a phrase. The true meaning of the forecasts could only be read and comprehended by people who knew these languages, and it's not an easy task. He made predictions about a number of global events, and a lot of people firmly think that he can foretell the future based on his predictions. It's critical to comprehend its true significance. He foresaw the deaths of prominent figures and made several allusions to natural and man-made calamities in his predictions. This is where it gets shocking. Let's look at the list of his forecasts that have so far come to pass. Among his prophecies was the Great Fire of London. London will lack the blood of the just, consumed in the fire of 66. The old one, the lady, will fall off her perch. Numerous members of the same sect will perish. 2 weeks later, on September 2, 1966, London experienced the Great Fire. It was a tiny little fire at first. Eventually the fire, which started in Thomas Ferrier's bakery on Pudding Lane, spread over the entire city. However, that's not even the most absurd forecast. Hitler's route throughout Europe was another of these predictions. A little youngster of impoverished parents will emerge from the depths of Western Europe. He who can entice a mighty soldier with his mouth. His renown will spread throughout the Eastern world. Ferocious beasts driven by hunger will cross the rivers. The bulk of the battleground will be against hipsters turning into an iron cage. Who will draw the Great One? When the German child sees nothing. Hitler left the Nazi Party by using his orgies slain. The name Asta has a unique meaning. It is not a misspelling. It refers to the Danube River, the birthplace of the actual Hitler. Do you notice how they are similar? Do you think that Nostradamus foresaw what has already happened to us and what is ahead of us, just when he felt he could go any farther in predicting terror? Next, Nostradamus foresaw the events that occurred in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. The celestial arrow will extend along its path. Rumors of a horrible creature, death in the speech, a magnificent feat, and the proud nation brought low by the stone in the tree. Humans bring purging, followed by expiry. Because the US detonated 2 atomic bombs on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Even though World War II was coming to a conclusion, nobody had anticipated such a terrible action. People endured excruciating radiation to this degree, and the effects haven't completely subsided. But before we get into what's going to happen this year, let's pause for a second. Thus, you may want to sit back and listen carefully. It's clear to us now that this year is unlike any other as we look to the future. This year, many of Nostradamus's prophecies will come to pass, therefore we need to be ready for it. This is the initial one. When it is seen, the parched land will become even more extreme, causing massive floods. 2024 is going to be a year of disasters. We wouldn't have enough time to bounce back from these disasters. They will keep returning one after the other. Volcanic eruptions and earthquakes would prevent humans from having access to water. We would be struck by dehydration. Society would shift as a result of this. These calamities will result in drought and starvation as side effects. It will be difficult for people to get food and water. It gets even more surprising than that at this point. No monks, no abbots. No newbie should be taught that honey is significantly more expensive than candle wax given the high cost of wheat. That man has invited his neighbor to dine in his give-up. The wealthy nation's financial systems will see a sharp downturn. Social division will rip the nation apart. Individuals would turn to farming and move to areas with more water. Being ready is preferable to crying at that point. States will clash as they compete for water resources. And it doesn't even end there. This is when the exciting part begins. Another one of his predictions was that Putin's health will be in danger this year due to his declining state. This Russian president is going to have health problems, and the year ahead will be difficult. But which country, in 2024, will change the face of the world? According to Nostradamus, India would be the nation that is most likely to play a significant role in altering the geopolitical and financial environment globally. There will be major changes on the global scene, which will affect our future. The year 2024 is known as the Dragon Year for this reason. This year will provide prosperity in terms of riches, bravery, and trust. A decentralized digital world is going to exist. There are new prospects there, but things are also going to get pretty interesting. The presence of alien civilization is Nostradamus' most intriguing prophecy. These beings keep a careful eye on the path of our planet, and we will establish communication with them. By the end of 2024, a delicate peace will be established. Do you believe the aliens would come to our aid? Nostradamus foresaw the establishment of a worldwide telepathic link. People will be able to communicate more effectively mentally. It is not necessary for them to express their wants and feelings orally. They'll find it simple to collaborate. There'll be more compassion and less arguments. People will band together in a show of love and unity. Let's take a moment to review 2 more significant quotations. It is foretold by Nostradamus that 2024 will be a naval year. He claims that fear will cause red enemies to turn pale, making the vast ocean dreadful. Considering that China's flag is red, many people believe that this lyric alludes to a Chinese invasion on Taiwan. Furthermore, he foresaw that the King of Isles' reign would not last very long. He continues after that to state, there will be appointed a new monarch who will placate the earth for a very long period. Charles III might be the King of the Isles. He's going to be targeted personally because of his relationship with Camilla. Many still recall Princess Diana and believe Camilla was the one who kidnapped Charles from her. Long before the present head of Catholicism, Nostradamus foresaw the demise of the Queen of England. Francis the Pope. He might be replaced. He will be replaced by someone else, but this is where things become very interesting. Then Nostradamus predicts that a healthy-looking Roman will be elected as a result of the death of an extremely elderly pope. It will be claimed of him that he loses his vision. But he'll sit biting for a long time. The pope would be replaced by a younger one, and authority may be diminished. It is possible that the Catholic Church may go into decline. This reminds you of another prophecy, doesn't it? The Last Popes Prophesy by Saint Manakel. Maybe. Astronomy and medicine were two of Nostradamus's specialties. He was a multilingual man who was conversant in Greek and Latin. He had a deep interest in astrology and studied it extensively. All these forecasts were made by the accomplished doctor. A lot of people really think that all of this will happen. The real story will only become clear with time, but it's time for us to start planning. He was criticized because of all the forecasts he produced, but he was unmoved by it. He followed his convictions because he had faith in himself. In the years 1566, he departed from this earth. A heritage of mysterious poetry. We continue to investigate and unravel the enigma of existence. We possess all the hints to the future that Nostradamus left us. Interpreting the writings of Nostradamus might provide a number of difficulties. There will be 1 in a million born people like Nostradamus. They look into the future and are endowed with reduction capability. Most people think well of him. Although there is a subset of individuals who don't think the poems meant anything at all, neither the prophecies nor him but an imaginary object. Do you really think these forecasts are true? That is the question that lies ahead of you. Do you believe that all of this will occur this year? The facts won't become clear for some time. Our best option would be to track down historical occurrences and determine how well they matched his prophecies. This will let people realize that Nostradamus's prophecy actually come to pass. However, there are 2 additional forecasts that we believe are very significant but cannot yet be deciphered. Let's examine this. In a fight, the younger lion will triumph over the elder. He will puncture his eyeballs through a golden cage during a single combat. After suffering from 2 wounds combined, he was brutally killed by the demands and singing of the captive population. In the future, headless fools will accept these as divine prayers while princes and lords are imprisoned.